Hi, welcome back. This is Miss Hughes. I am going to be talking to you today about what your students have been learning during week 5 of Marking Period 2 in the compacted Math 4-5 curriculum. This week, we are still looking at fractions, but we are talking about multiplying them. The biggest message that you will get across to your students is that when you multiply fractions, you are making more groups, that's the multiplying part, of the same copies of pieces. The best thing I can tell you to remember is that fractions are always pieces of a whole and they will repeat themselves every time. Our biggest goal today is to talk about visual representations of what math they're actually doing. Currently, all the Math 4-5 students have a very good understanding of multiplication, but being able to represent what they are showing and understanding deeper, they need to be able to draw it. What I've put right here is an example of maybe a reason why we need to know how to multiply fractions. In this problem, it's real life. You're trying to make 36 muffins or 3 dozen muffins for a party, but the ingredients only make 1 dozen. This happens to me a lot. I need 3 dozen muffins. How do I decide how much of each ingredient to buy in order to make enough? So real life application is really helpful. Drawing pictures is really helpful. The only problem with drawing pictures is students tend to try and draw actual cups, actual measuring cups of flour, and it becomes tedious. So what we're going to do today really quickly is talk about the math portion of it and also the best ways to represent the fractions that they're calculating. Let's start with a problem, pretty simple problem. 5 times 3/4. What this means is if I need if I have 5 classrooms, there are 5 fourth grade classrooms, and each classroom has, I don't know, a pizza, and each class eats only 3/4 of their pizza. How much pizza was eaten if all 5 classes ate 3/4 of a pizza? Now, the simple math that most of these students know is that if we're talking about fourths, the name doesn't change. We will still have fourths if the pizzas are all cut into fourths. There's no more cutting. We will still have fourths, but how many fourths? Well, each class has 3, and there are 5 classes, so that'll be 15 fourths. The hardest part for your students at this moment is being able to change this from an improper fraction into a mixed fraction, which we will do after we draw our pictures. We'll do that together. Okay, now knowing this, because all of your kids can multiply 5 times 3, what does that actually mean? Why do we multiply just the numerator, not the denominator? This is what the picture is for. So we're going to start, since we use the pizza example, just drawing circles. Now the question here is, if I'm doing 5 groups, I could start by drawing 5 circles just in case. I notice that 3/4 is less than a whole, so I won't need more than 5 pizzas since each class isn't eating more than 1 pizza each. But I will need to think about how many circles I might need to draw. And if I was any good at this portion, changing it into a mixed fraction, I would already know. But let's just start with 5. I already know I need 5 groups, so I might need 5 holes, just in case. Now, I can make as many holes as I want. I can keep going. Doesn't really matter. But I need at least 5. Now that I've done my normal step 1, if you remember from fractions last week, step 1 is always know what your whole is. Step 2 is always determine your denominator. So I cannot move forward unless I have partitioned each whole, denominator, into the correct amount of pieces. In this case, we are talking about fourths. Every whole should be partitioned the same. Since we are multiplying groups of the same amount of the same size pieces, everything needs to be fourths. I may not need all of them. Just keep that in mind. Now, I need to make 5 groups of 3/4. So every time I start a new group, I'm going to use a different color just to represent it. So if my story is true and every class eats 3/4, I'm going to go through all the classes in the 4th grade. Let's start with my class, Miss Hughes. Miss Hughes's class ate 3/4 of a pizza. There's Miss Hughes's class. There's one group done. The second class is Miss Lieberman. Her class ate 3/4 of a pizza as well. There's my second group. The next group will be Miss Nam's class. They ate also 3/4 of a pizza. There are 3 groups. Then we have Mr. Wood's class. They ate 3/4 of a pizza. There's 4 groups. And lastly, Miss Brown's class. They ate also 3/4 of a pizza. There are my 5 groups. All groups are represented. 5 groups, 5 colors. Every group ate 3/4. Your whole number is always your groups. Your fraction is always how many you put in each group. 5 groups of 3/4 each. Let's make sure our original math is correct. Are there 15/4 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15/4. What do you know? Now, if I want to do the next step and change it into from an improper fraction into a mixed fraction, I can count how many holes there are completely shaded in and then any additional fractions after. So I see I have 1, 2, 3 holes, and then 1, 2, 3 more fourths. 3 3/4 pizza were eaten by the 4th grade classes. And you can see I didn't need these. Those were just in case. If I want to do the exact same thing, but represent it with bars, I would do the following. Again, I might need 5 holes because I'm going to be using 5 groups. I might need 5. But now that we know we don't need 5, we really only need, 4 holes? I'm going to start there. Once again, I've identified my hole. Step 2, I need to identify my denominator. It's still fourths. I'm going to partition each hole into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Those are fourths. Just like my circles above, I'm just making them bars. Now, just like last time, let's talk about each class. The first class is Miss Hughes, group number 1. Her class ate 3/4 of a pizza. Then Miss Lieberman's class ate 1, 2, 3/4 of another pizza. Miss Nam's class ate 1, 2, 3/4 of a pizza. Mr. Wood's class also ate 3/4 of a pizza. And Miss Brown's class ate 3/4 of a pizza. Once again, I have 5 groups of 3/4. 5 groups of 3/4. Let's double check. Do I have 15/4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15/4. I also can see that I have 3 holes completely shaded in and then 3/4 of another. Once again, 3 3/4. I want to point out that every time I got to the end of 3/4, I still shaded in the rest of the hole before moving into the next hole to show my total amount. If I kept moving into holes and holes and leaving these blanks, I wouldn't know my total. And that's our goal, is to know our total. I don't know why my pen's not working all of a sudden. Oh no. Oh no. What's happening? Oh, this is not going to be good. I will show you the number line in my next video. Since I am running out of time, please make sure that you click on it. This will be called part 1. Part 2 will show you the number line, and we'll move on from there. Thank you.